welcome back to the Panic Room, everyone, and to a I read a lot of books and let's talk about them video. Alright guys, so I read 12 books. And actually I know I say this all the time, but I think I'm actually going to do it this time. I think I'm going to split this into two parts, just so you guys aren't here forever. And there's kind of a line of demarcation with some of these books. I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about the nostalgia, like fun horror books that I read, and then some more of the adult horror books that I read. So let's start with everyone's favorite, yeah? Let's start with Uzumaki, which I'm probably butchering, you guys know, with my twang. And I am really, really lucky that Erie, one of my dear subscribers who has been in the Panic Room forever, is a completionist and wanted to send me the last little like black and red hardback Junji Ito. They had previously sent me Gaio, probably butchering that, and Tomi. And so this kind of completes that little collection. It's about a shape, okay? It's about a shape. It's about a spiral, but I'm telling you, this is the most fever dream. It was wonderful. It was so good. Let's just open. Let's just open. So you're in this small town, right? And it's being essentially taken over by a spiral, okay? But there's so many different stories here. You have like pregnancy stuff with like babies and mosquitoes that is just out there. You've got like people getting lost, bodies contorting. Oh, it is so good. It is so good. I forget, I think maybe it was Sam or Nim, one of the two. Somebody told me that this is one of his best works, and I almost agree. I almost agree. I thought it was going to be hard-pressed to beat things like Tomi and Gaio, but I really loved this. I really did. I felt that it was a really good narrative of this one town. And you guys know, I love that. Comment down below if you like that. Where you get like all these little stories, but they take place in the same general location. And each story kind of gives you this like new look or a new way of seeing something. That's kind of what happened here. But each story was so good. It was not reliant on the other stories to carry it. Each story can stand by itself as a good horror story, which I was not surprised at. Junji Ito is the master. So let's see, let's flip open another one, just because there's these wonderful little like colored sections here and there, because usually, you know, Junji Ito stuff is black and white. Check that action out. Look, because it's a spiral. It's a spring, right? Yeah. You have every possible take on the idea of this spiral that you could think of in this book. I really think so. I really do. I think he covered those bases well. And each one is its own special type of horrifying. So, Junji Ito, Uzumaki. Okay, let's stay with some fun stuff, shall we? You guys, I don't know if anybody else does this. I know some of you do. I know some of my friends here that make videos do, because you've said it. Sometimes you just need something a little bit lighter. And I hit a couple days like that, and thankfully my friend Austin over at Monster Blood sent me these lovely little gems. Look at this nostalgia. I love the foil on that one. Who's shocked? Nobody? Didn't think so. These were wonderful. I had not had a Goosebumps book, probably 20 years. Seriously, probably 20 years. So the one that really leapt out at me was this one, which was Night of the Living Dummy 2. I loved Night of the Living Dummy when I was a kid. Now, I'm a tad old, just a tad, like right over the edge for Goosebumps. I was a little bit old when these were kind of in their heyday. I read them. I had a number of them, but I wasn't like, I guess, in the targeted audience, so to speak. Loved this. This was so much fun, revisiting Slappy and kind of like going down that whole path of being a kid and having this like fun horror, you know? This was like our gateway drug, right? This is our gateway drug to books like this or this. It was fun. It was a lot of fun revisiting Slappy. It had that just distinct Goosebumps flavor to it, you know, like kind of fun at times, but then kind of like, what's up with that ending, you know? So loved this. And then these three were actually brand new to me because I like I said, I was kind of outside of the realm of the age that Goosebumps was targeting by and large, you know, just by a few years. So I never read things like The Nightmare Room or the Give Yourself Goosebumps series, which I love these books though. I had other types of books like this where you choose your own adventure. Loved that. So these were both of that, and I died so many times. But it was fun. It was fun. And I mean, I have to say, I think that if I was a few years younger, I would have really, really been all over these, because I remember enjoying Goosebumps even as like an older preteen, and these were great. These were a lot of fun. So, and this, you know, I wouldn't know about books like this if it wasn't for Austin's channel. I have to say, this was kind of a step above, I think, regular Goosebumps stuff. And okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a rundown. I mean, these are kids' books, I know. But their whole premise of this is like there's this house that makes you forget, and part of the thing that happens when you forget is that the kids get covered in this like goo, right? I said on Goodreads, I was like, I'm kind of disappointed that R.L. Stein did not call it Forget Me Snot. Forget Me Snot. Would that not have been perfect? Forget Me Snot. Comment down below. Tell me, is that not hilarious? It should have been called Forget Me Snot. Okay? They're covered in Forget Me Snot. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. So, in the same vein of wanting some like lighthearted, fun stuff to read, I picked up this. Fright Watch, The Stitchers. This is part 1 or book 1 of a series, and this was sent to me a while back by Elizabeth Sedgwood, who, if you guys don't know, is another wonderful channel for like YA kind of nostalgic type horror. I was really shocked at this, and maybe it's just me being dense, but this title did not register until about halfway through the book. Then I figured out why it was called The Stitchers. I have to say I liked this. It was fun. It really was. I can definitely see like young teenage me reading something like this back in the day. They go very well together, you know, Goosebumps, The Stitchers, things like that. I have to say, reading this made me smile. Like, it made me think like, hopefully somewhere out there is a future horror booktuber reading this and it opening up the door to things like King or Poe or something like that, like it did for a lot of us. So I have to say, this was fun. If you have kids like in the 12-ish range, 12 to 14-ish, highly recommend The Stitchers. And if you'll bear with the teacher side of me, I think that this could possibly lend itself really well to a read aloud. I think it's fun in that way, and I think it has a lot of really like visually attractive scenes that a kid would like to hear out loud. So, Fright Watch, The Stitchers. So we can't talk about fun horror without mentioning Grady Hendrix, at least to me. Grady Hendrix is just fun. The first book I ever read by Grady Hendrix was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I knew then that he was just one of those writers that I think I was going to laugh at a lot, and I haven't been disappointed. Every single time I read something by Grady Hendrix, he usually makes me laugh. But he also has the ability to write pretty good horror scenes. For those of you who have read Southern Book Club, do you remember the rat scene? Yeah, that was a pretty intense scene. That was kind of gross. So I read Horrorstor, and this was sent to me by David over at David's Book Reviews. If you guys aren't familiar with this book, it's set up like an IKEA manual. Yeah, there you go. Like at the beginning of each chapter. And what's funny is that, you know, because I want to know everything, right? So I was reading these little blurbs here, and they start to get like real outlandish as the book starts to get outlandish. It's kind of fun. So yeah, essentially you just have some characters in what is an IKEA or an Orsk in this universe, and things happen. And it's a pretty good story. It's a pretty good little like ghost story, but you know, I laughed at certain points. I still say that to me, Grady Hendrix is just fun, and he kind of went with that whole mood I was in about like wanting something a little bit lighter. So, Grady Hendrix, Horrorstor. So guys, I think I'm gonna cut it off here. I will put a part 2 out to this video and tell you what else I've been reading here lately. I do hope you guys enjoyed this. Please comment down below. You know, I know we had a lot of like lighter stuff in this video. You know, tell me what you think about the lighter side of horror. You know, what was your gateway drug? What got you into horror? For me, I have to say it was probably stuff like Goosebumps and shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark? I loved crap like that. So, But guys, if you like this, please hit like, hit subscribe. It would really help me out. And until part 2, bye for now.